Trigger warning for sensitive viewers. This is a very good manga that I'm going to talk about, but it does involve domestic violence and trauma. Sensitive viewers should be advised. One of the most common side effects of trauma is forced maturity. Children who come from abusive homes are often more mature than the adults around them. Sometimes this is called a loss of innocence, but it doesn't just happen to children. It can happen to adults, especially women who are powerless to stop their partners from harming them. And that is what happened in the subject of today's video. Living together with the queen from my high school days who was arrogant, surprisingly isn't that uncomfortable. And before you start going off about the title, remember this is a manga adaptation of a light novel, which started as a web novel on a website with over 2 million active stories. That's why light novel titles are so long and overly descriptive. They're basically elevator pitches, but for our sake, we'll just call this one Living with the Queen. Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Danon. I'm currently reading over 600 manga and light novels, and my two favorite genres are fantasy and romance. So on this channel, we talk a lot about both those genres, but we tend to look more into story structure and tropes rather than how cool the fight scenes are, or how great the animation or artwork is. Oh, one last thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know it's annoying to hear it, but like 80% of you aren't subscribed. Yamamoto is a first-year university student who lives on his own. His favorite thing to do is clean. I'm pretty sure that puts him on the autism scale, especially since later on, he almost has a panic attack when he's unable to clean, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. He works the night shift at a convenience store, mostly because the pay is better, and goes to school. One day, Hayashi shows up at his work. She recognizes him, of course. After all, she spent most of high school bullying him, and anyone else she felt was beneath her. This, of course, led to her nickname, the Arrogant Queen. As she finishes making her purchase, Yamamoto notices some bruises on her wrist. Now, there's a lot of ways to get bruises, but the shape of these make it pretty obvious how these were formed. Yamamoto asks Hayashi how it happened, and she admits that her boyfriend beats her. Yamamoto realizes she's wearing a long-sleeved shirt in the summertime. In Tokyo? That's absurd. But that must mean the bruises she's hiding are even worse than the one he saw on her wrist. It's only been 4 months since graduation, and Hayashi is already living with her boyfriend. Yamamoto suggests running away and going back to her parents' house, but she admits they cut her off. She had to drop out of college because they stopped paying for it. She has nowhere to go but back to her boyfriend's apartment. The boyfriend who beats her. This is often the sad reality for victims of domestic violence. Their options are homelessness or getting beat up. Yamamoto tells her to stay at his place tonight. He'll give her his spare key and she can hide there. But she agrees to go home with him. She'll just wait for him to get off his shift. There is still some arrogance in Hayashi. After all, it's only been 4 months since high school, so she hasn't changed completely. But there's also something different about her. Something more submissive. Maybe she has grown up a bit. But after she gets out of the shower, Yamamoto notices her entire body is covered in bruises, and several of them are much older than the ones on her wrist. And this is the part that made me fall in love with this manga. Yamamoto may be a little autistic. He does love to clean after all, but he can read human emotions. When he points out that some of the bruises are older, he recognizes Hayashi's answering tone. She's telling him, "Don't go there. Drop it." He decides, "Nope, I am going there." And he confronts her. But he does it selfishly. He doesn't try to make friends with Hayashi. They're not friends. She hated his guts in high school. Yamamoto just points out that if something ever did happen to her, and he knew about the abuse, he could get in trouble. It could ruin his future. So he's going to give his 2 cents because he's now involved. She doesn't want to listen? Oh well, he said his piece. He hits you when he's stressed and you still want to support him? When did you become a selfless person? Yamamoto realizes he's angry. But he's not sure at who or what. Maybe he's just angry at the situation. Maybe he's angry that the queen of high school has fallen so low. Is this what he was scared of? This meek, broken thing? Or is he mad at the person who did this to her? He's not sure, But the anger is there, and it is real. She accepts his feelings and realizes he's probably right. After all, she may be battered and bruised, but she is alive. Hayashi decides to go to sleep. Yamamoto graciously gives her the bed and curls up on the floor. But of course, neither of them can sleep. Both are still processing this new reality. Of course, some people have their own ways of processing, or perhaps escapism. Sex can be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Who knows why Hayashi offered herself up to Yamamoto? She slides on the floor next to him and embraces him from behind. Of course, this causes the innocent Yamamoto to freak out a bit, but Hayashi is just teasing him as a way of thanking him. Then again, maybe she was overwhelmed by having someone be nice to her for the first time in months. Once Hayashi is hugging Yamamoto from behind, she tells him more about her situation. About how her boyfriend used to be nice and considerate, but all that changed when she moved in with him. Whenever his mood dipped, he'd hit her. And he never made any sense. He'd beat her for not making money and then yell at her when she offered to get a job. Yamamoto tells her she's been through a lot. That simple acknowledgement helps her immensely. She snuggles close to him, cheek to cheek, and whispers her thanks. And so, the two of them start living together. And it is a journey for both of them. Yamamoto has to deal with someone else living in his house, and Hayashi has to overcome her trauma. She'd been in survival mode for the past several months. If she asked her boyfriend for anything, she'd likely get beaten. But now she can ask for clothes, help finding a job, or even a phone. The two discuss how they should move forward, and Hayashi does make the decision to leave her abusive boyfriend. Yamamoto points out that it's possible her boyfriend will retaliate, so he suggests gathering some evidence first. Their first stop is the hospital and then the police. Once all this is on record, if he retaliates, there's a paper trail. The reason I love this series is how the focus is on her recovering from the abuse. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to heal from abuse, sometimes years, and I love how this is shown in the series. Hayashi is a strong woman, and she can still scare Yamamoto at times, but she went through something traumatic. And along comes this boy who she used to hate, someone she used to bully, and he's saving her. How is she supposed to respond to that? Even when she offers herself to him, he rejects her. Not because he finds her unattractive or anything, but because he knows it would be wrong. First of all, paying for rent with sex is uncouth. But also, it wouldn't help her with her trauma. It would make him almost as bad as her boyfriend. But maybe, after some time has passed and the two of them develop feelings for each other, something may develop. If you want to see, you'll have to read it for yourself. What new romance manga are you reading? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. There are several tiers to choose from. You can pick an anime or manga for me to do a video about, or you can join our monthly manga club. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alix, Robert, Pi, Kazaris, Patrick, Boomy, Osra, Justin, Sleech, Luke, Mr. Salty, Daniel, Bryan, and Enra, Waka, Telethia, and Azandar. You guys are awesome. I post anime or manga videos often, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.